Well, hello there. This is another video, and they're getting a little bit more organized. Um, we're still roughing out a few things, but I am happy that we've sort of found a direction. Okay, so, or at least a way to explain the direction. Part of what I'm working on is something that I call schedule a difference. Okay? Now, all of these disparate or apparently or seemingly disparate parts all fit into what I call an economy. Okay? I believe I have a paradigm for what can be called an economy. And a quick term to kind of explain where I'm coming from is something I call contemporization sociolinguistics. If you understand what I'm saying with contemporization sociolinguistics, then that would be great. All of this, though, this is kind of like where I'm going on. This is where I'm going from now on. Is this? I found what I consider to be adequate, and in fact, I came up with a term called adequatocracy or adequatopia. I like, I like adequatopia. Mostly because we have all of these utopian ideas and these dystopian ideas, but adequatopia is kind of cool. This is a map of the Americas, and the reason I'm putting this forward right now is that basically this is, I consider this now to be kind of like the lost territories, according to what could be called the real schedule. Because the real schedule is the rate on Earth at which frozen water is melting, okay? And the rate at which methane is going into the atmosphere, and the rate at which reality is actually moving. We have we're up against what could be called a human behavior agenda, and I guess a quick term, another term, I come up with terms. I'm a cartoonist, I do that. Is human behavior chauvinism. Okay, human behavior chauvinism is kind of our hang up. I don't know what percentage of the life on Earth the human race actually adds up to, but it certainly isn't that much. And we constantly indulge in human behavior chauvinism. What we have is we have a brief chance to schedule a difference. And what I mean by this is that there's 52 billion mobile devices on Earth right now. That's mobile phones that are all kind of like hooked into the internet. And I have a goal of getting 1% of the people on those phones choreographing what could be called um, scheduling a difference. And I'll talk about that later. But really, what's up with the Americas is on the other side of the North Pole, you have kind of a wall, a big giant wall of what we might as well call it Russia. And on this side, what we have is a very different form of geography, which is a lot of water, very close to a lot more water, okay, with water in between, and two ranges of mountains going down to this very narrow part of the Americas. This is 3 million lakes, at least. There's lots of lakes in what we consider to be connected to be Canada, right? Um, and this is flat land. It goes through here with very warm air and very cold air, and what could be called a funnel for how the wind and air move. When the permafrost decays in this area, it's very likely that the water here will move around, or excuse me, yes, the water will move around quite differently than it does since it's being held in check by land, which is more or less made of permafrost. What this means is that Middle America, which has kind of been sold short now by the Republican agenda is going to be where tornadoes, hurricanes, perhaps acid rain made from methane, it's all going to pour right into this small little area here. Lots of water, lakes and stuff, lots of water, and this little tiny area, which if you notice, could become a vortex of sorts. Now, I'm not a climate scientist, but if you look at the map, that's more or less what you see. So where are we going to find the people who are interested in scheduling a difference? That is a subject for another video, but I wanted to show you part of what the plans are and part of what the issue is, at least so far as I'm concerned. We need to be preparing for climate change. We don't need to be litigating who caused it. We need to be preparing for it. And that is what this is about. Preparing for climate change. And in the process of preparing for climate change, coming up with what could be called adequate approaches to things like economy and cooperation and things like that. Okay, so still relatively vague, but that's a piece of the puzzle. So I'm going to stop and see how many minutes that took. 6 minutes and 31 seconds. So let's stop here. Thank you.